Hello everyone and thanks for joining us. Please welcome my guest today, the winner of our July 2022 tournament at les Chroniques du Commandeur, Baekstra. Congratulations on your win. Can you tell us a few words about you?
Yeah, so I come from Denmark. I go by the name of Baekstra all over the internet. I'm Chris in real life, and I am 28. I've played Magic since Killer Dash. Started picking up there. Got a bag of random cards from a friend. Thought it was nice to fiddle with, and then I got my first booster box in Killer Dash and tried playing with that. And I actually only started Duel Commander last year at Tier 1 Con in Copenhagen, Denmark, where I came with a few friends and was just gonna play some Commander and enjoy the ambience. And then there was a Duel Commander workshop where they were like, oh, let us help you build your Duel Commander deck. And I was like, oh, sure, that seems fun. 1v1 Commander, that's always been the best part I like. I don't like being 4 people all that often because too much downtime and you don't decide who wins anyways and such. And then he looked at my Aminato deck and said, oh yeah, you have some good cards, but you need to get this list of 30 good cards to actually play. And I tried that for the qualifier and went 2-3. Had an infinite combo that went off a few times, but I lost to aggro way too often. And the day after, also did that. Went 2-3 again in the real tournament. And since that, it actually went on hold for a bit. And then with Streets of New Capenna, I found, I looked at Rafine, thought she's an awesome commander. She's so good in 1 versus 1, and then I picked up Duel Commander again.
Okay, that's a really nice story. That's impressive. So you won our tournament with your Raffin list, which is currently trusting the top 8. There were 3 Raffin lists in our top 8, and your deck's list strongly differs from the other ones. 45 different cards, or even 47 from some deck lists. Could you explain us why you chose that deck and the choices you've made for this tournament? Which matchup were you expecting?
Yeah, so this was the second month I actually participated in a tournament, so I didn't know too much about the meta and the matchups yet. So I went by my knowledge from modern and normal standard actually and draft. So I was thinking that Rafine is very good at being aggressive. I want to have creatures the early turns, and then specifically abusing the connive mechanic. I'm very fan of abusing your commander, also relying a bit more on it. But that helps when she has Ward 1. So when you look at my deck list, you will notice that I have some cards that are meh normally, but stuff like Asylum Visitor with Madness is very nice when you attack turn 4 and get another 3-1 body for 2 mana and no card spent. And also Just the Wind is an awesome tempo play with the Madness for 1 blue and then you unsummon a blocker. And in general, I have a very high density of 1-drop removal spells that are very conditional. Mm-hmm. But knowing that I can attack and probably draw a good card to remove blockers, even though it's a bad attack if I don't have a removal because they have so good blocks. But I can likely remove it and then I can keep on with the pressure. And then I also had some, let's say, cute choices. Chancellor of the Annex and Gemstone Caverns. Like, I can connive it away, but it gives me such a tempo advantage if it's in my starting hand. So I thought they were worthy includes. The list is a bit too aggressive for the meta, I feel. Stuff like Memnite doesn't really do anything, even if you have it turn 1.
And at the moment, what do you consider as the forces and weaknesses of your decks? What are your key cards and maybe what cards would you remove? You already told us a bit about it, but which card would you remove for the next tournament, for example?
Well, the Archivist of Ogma didn't do enough. It's a 2-2 with flash, that's meh. And also Disrupt, even though in the semis it definitely drove home match number 3. It's too specific. Only hitting instant and sorceries is too much of a drawback, even though it draws you a card. And I feel like the weakness is if they can keep Rafine off and still apply pressure. In matchups versus Control or matchups versus, for example, Leovold, didn't meet one this time. But if they can counterspell Rafine or make Connive be really bad for me with no card draw triggers. Then my deck is slightly worse than the ordinary lists, I would say, because of the reliance on madness and some cards that are completely useless unless in my starting hand. Of course, for the mirror, which is a bad matchup if the mirror plays a counterspell, Hull Breacher is key, as you will also see in the final.
So you told us you've been playing Duel Commander for a year. How do you consider the health of the format at the moment?
I think it's healthy. I'm not sure, so I played a year ago and then these last 2 and 3 months. And a year ago I was impressed by all those kinda bad partner commanders in my first experience, but then, you know, they always had a new creature because they had 2 commanders. So I started understanding why aggro was so good with partners. So I think having something to stop partners is an improvement compared to what I experienced last year. And other than that, I don't know specifically if cards need to be banned so fast or not, because it's a format that's not played so much and it has a high variance. So it doesn't get solved so fast, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like Minsk and Boo, very strong. Broken, maybe, I'm not sure. Shurikai, maybe. Like Rafine, she might also get banned. But if it all was legal, then maybe it would not be too bad anyways, because they have clear strength and weaknesses, all of them in my opinion.
Okay.
So, not arguing for bans, but also not against. It's hard to say.
Yeah. Committee is not doing an easy job.
No, definitely. With the lack of information, because they have fewer tournaments than, say, Standard or Modern. Also less online play.
Do you have any comments on Duel Commander in general?
Yeah, of course I do. I mean, it's my favorite format now. I always liked tinkering with deck building. I've tried making some very weird modern decks, combo lists, or very weird synergy lists. And it just changes too much and feels too linear. On the other hand, I don't like being 4 people in a game most of the time, so I feel like Duel Commander gives that variance and new experience playing it against a lot of different things, while also being very competitive. You can definitely lose because you made a bad deck. You can also lose because you played bad, but you also have some higher randomness, which makes you able to win bad matchups against a specific commander or lose good matchups.
Okay. So it was a real pleasure to have you with us today. Congrats again on your win, and I hope we see you again on our next tournaments.
Thank you very well. You can bet I plan on bringing Aminato to beat Rafine this time.
We'll see that. Thank you very much.